This hour, Republican efforts to overhaul health care passes the first procedural hurdle yesterday after the Senate votes to advance to floor debates. But hours later, senators rejected the first proposal to repeal and replace Obamacare with a plan put forward by the GOP leadership. It was shot down by a vote of 57 to 43, with 9 Republicans defecting. During a rally in Youngstown, Ohio last night, the president had a message for Republicans who are not getting in line with their party.
We're now one step closer to liberating our citizens from this Obamacare nightmare. Any senator who votes against repeal and replace is telling America that they are fine with the Obamacare nightmare, and I predict they'll have a lot of problems.
Joining us right now is South Dakota Senator Mike Round. Senator, it's good to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Walk through what took place yesterday, Senator, and what is it going to take for Republicans to come together on health care?
The critical vote was the first vote that brought us to actually debate the bill. The second bill was a test vote. It would have required 60 votes because the CBO score was not completed yet. So we did not expect the second vote to be an affirmative vote total. But it did give leadership a test to see whether or not the proposal that they were offering had strength within the Republican Party. I think there will be additional amendments put onto it, and I think we'll be real close to that 50-50 that we're going to need in order to get this thing moving. Most of it will come in conference committee report because it'll take a while to get the CBO report out. This is the opportunity to take a test of it, see whether or not it's popular enough to actually include in a conference committee report once the scoring is completed.
How did you vote? Did you vote for the second bill?
Yes, I voted in favor of it. I think it's a great bill right now. I think it can be made even better. But in my home state of South Dakota, it means 77,000 people are going to get some stability in their individual rates. It means there's going to be over 37,000 more people that are going to be able to take advantage of some assistance during this time in which we overhaul the existing health insurance products that are out there under Obamacare. So for me, I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think there's other things that are going to be added to it that will make it better yet.
Senator, this is Rachel Campos-Duffy here. Why do you think these senators are waiting for the CBO score? I mean, the CBO has been wrong. They were wrong about Obamacare. They've been wrong all the time. I don't even know why we care.
It's because in order to get back to a 51-vote threshold, you have to have the CBO in place. The CBO pricing has got to be done. So if you don't, one of the most frustrating parts in this whole process is in reconciliation, you have to have a CBO score on the amendments that you're offering. So the proposals that were laid out yesterday, everybody knew were going to take 60 votes. So this was a test run to see whether or not there was a good move on the part of the vast majority of the Republicans that were moving in the right direction.
Maybe it's time for the Senate to reform some of those rules because it doesn't make any sense. We're waiting for a score from an organization that is constantly wrong.
And then everybody will say, well, we don't believe it, right? I mean, that's going to happen next.
Right. Look, there's a group of us, we absolutely agree with you. There's a better way to do this, but nonetheless, CBO is respected, and they do try. We're challenging them with a lot of different amendments, but it is a real frustration in the rank and file within the Senate.
Senator, do you think that the idea that's being talked about more and more about a skinny bill coming out of the Senate, which would just repeal the individual and the employer mandate and the medical devices tax, that you could vote on that and then send that to conference? What do you think the chances of that are of moving?
That's probably got the highest probability of getting passed of any of the proposals right now, in my opinion, because it would keep a clean bill moving forward into the conference committee report. That'll give the CBO the opportunity to score these other amendments that we're testing right now. But I don't think that would be the end result. I think the end result is still going to be a repeal and replace product. The stuff that we've been talking about so far and the amendments that I've seen really will fix a lot of the problems that you find in Obamacare right now. And over a period of time, it will also start the reform of the Medicaid program in such a fashion that it's actually sustainable for the next generation.
Senator, so are you saying the bill that we should expect to come out of Congress and to come out of the Senate, it actually won't codify Obamacare, and that was the issue that the 7 Republican senators who voted against it had, right? Because it actually keeps the essentials of Obamacare in place, whether it's with the mandates, the taxes, the growth of entitlements. You're saying the bill that you anticipate, and the reason why you voted for the current bill is because you expect those to be rolled back, and this will be a true repeal and replace.
Right. The repeal and replace will actually have a transition period, and the reason for the transition period is we can't make the changes fast enough to slow down the rate increases that Obamacare will see in the next couple of years. We really can't see changes that will impact people's premiums until the year 2020. And in doing so, that means we've got to be able to help these folks at the bottom end of the income scale that have no place else to go. And Obamacare was dumped on them. They didn't ask for it, and you've got to help them through this transition period with these credits remaining in place to help them get through. We're not trying to hurt people. We're trying to get them away from a very, very messy and broken system. And if we don't continue these assistance programs, they're the ones that basically are hurt the most. So, yeah, during this transition period, and there is a transition period included in it, we would be able to keep the premiums down for these individuals that have no place else to go, but it does phase them out, and it also reforms Medicaid. It actually slows down the growth of Medicaid. We still end up with Medicaid going up by about 26% between now and the year 2026, but that's a whole lot less than it would be otherwise, and it is actually sustainable.